The debate, guys. How you doing? My name is Tim Black. If you're just tuning in, if you're new to the show, we talk about politics, we talk about news, we talk about culture, we talk about what's going on in our world. We are hot. The mic is hot. Everybody's here. I just got through watching the Democratic debate in Miami. I was live tweeting throughout the debate. I watched every second of the debate. I would like to talk to you about the winners and losers and the opportunities taken, the opportunities missed in tonight's debate. I have receipts. Oh, I got receipts, y'all. Biggest loser of the night, in my opinion, is John Delaney, former congressman from Maryland, my home state, where I live now. Anybody remember what John Delaney said? I don't know what he said. His worst moment when he was kissing up to Nancy Pelosi on the subject of impeachment of Donald Trump. He said Nancy Pelosi knows more than any of us, all of us put together, about impeachment, if we should impeach Donald Trump or not. Okay, so and he repeated the applause line 4 times of Donald Trump is not above the law. 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 Hey, Delaney, saying something 4 times in a row, looking for an applause, if you don't get one, doesn't make it more plausible. A lot of what we can't do and what we shouldn't expect to get done. That was John Delaney. Okay, so who was the big winner of the night? Biggest winner of the night, guys, and I'm telling you, I thought it was going to be Tim Ryan. I think it was Julian Castro. I believe Julian Castro came out tonight with a little bump. Just after the debates, they said that Julian Castro's name started soaring for searches. Yeah, it was a spike in Julian Castro. He did a very good job on immigration, being the only Latino brother up there, or Latino candidate in the race. He did a very good job of articulating immigration policy problems, what's going on with ICE, what's going on at the border, what's going on with asylum, and he was citing Section 1325, where and calling out the decriminalization of people who are crossing the border without paperwork. He doesn't want that to no longer be a felony. He wants it to be a civil case. In fact, Castro went after Beto O'Rourke. Maybe Castro went after Beto O'Rourke because he was tired of hearing Beto O'Rourke speak Spanish and pander to the Latino audience. That could have been what it was. But it was impressive. It was a good shots by Castro. Now also, Tim Ryan. Tim Ryan had some moments, some glimmers. In the beginning, he was too hesitant, but then he did score some points when he was talking about the Democratic Party needs to get back to being the party of the working people, of the working class. Stop being so elitist. It didn't go over too well with the crowd there in the audience, but inside I was clapping. I was clapping because I think he's got a good point. But a lot of the momentum that Tim Ryan had, he gave up when he made a patented mistake, a foolish mistake, a foolish gaffe, a misstep, something he should have never done, which was talk about we need to have more engagement in the Middle East. Oh, God, why would you say that? You know Tulsi Gabbard's up here. You saying we need to have more engagement in the Middle East, that's what we need to do. Tulsi Gabbard came out of nowhere and knocked this one out the park. In fact, it was like she was Devo from Fridays, and she just went up and snatched his chain off his neck and took his bike. Tim Ryan, what are you thinking about? He got a little twisted around there. He forgot Al-Qaeda. And he started talking about Syria and Afghanistan and why we need to have more troops. And Tulsi Gabbard just kept bringing home the fact that we need to bring home our troops. So she did a great job. Tim Ryan lost a little bit of his momentum, as I said it before. His closing argument was pretty strong, though. Now, he was talking about division, being divided up, but he took a different tack. He took a tack, something that's close to my heart, is when he talked about working people banding together, working people noticing they're getting screwed by the corporations and big business, noticing they're getting screwed by these wars, band together. Actually, I don't think he brought up wars. I think I just gave him that. He talked about 10 cities, something you don't hear people talk about a lot. He talked about poverty and how we need to come together as sort of like in the vein of Martin Luther King Jr. If the poor people would ever wake up and realize they're being screwed by the same people, which is the top 1%, well, maybe then we could come together and we could take the thing back. So I liked his closer. Now, back to Tulsi Gabbard. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you Tulsi Gabbard needed to have a good night. It wasn't exactly the night I think she needed to have, but I'm going to tell you this, guys. It was a good night. It wasn't a bad night. It was not a bad night. In my earlier video, when I was talking about the pre-debate, I made some points, and I told you at the very end, I said, the person who has the most power in the debate is not even an individual on the stage. That person is an entity, and that entity really is a collection of people, and those people collection are the moderators. The moderators, Rachel Maddow, the only smear of the entire night, was bringing up over almost 2 decades old, almost 20-year-old stances that Tulsi Gabbard had about marriage equality and about LGBT rights. Something that she's been asked on every channel, MSNBC, CNN, everywhere she's been. Tulsi Gabbard's had to speak to her stances on LGBTQ. And she's been forthcoming, and she said, hey, I was young, I was raised in a conservative household, very religious family, socially religious, Christian family, I don't know if it's Christian, Hindu family, I think she has a mixed family of different religions. But that's how she was raised. When she got into the military, her opinion changed. She was enlisted. She served beside people of all types of different genders, of different orientations. They would die for her. She would die for them. It changed her perspective. She moved out of her mom's house. She moved out of her family's home. She's went into life, and she's changed her opinion. These are all stories. If you're a fan of Tulsi, or if you've been exposed to her, then you know how she feels about this. But damn it, the only person who had that done to them was Tulsi Gabbard. You didn't hear them calling out Cory Booker about taking money from the pharmaceutical industry. You didn't hear them calling out Cory Booker about how he didn't sign the bill, how he voted against us getting drugs from Canada when he talked about health care. But Rachel Maddow made it a point to call out Tulsi Gabbard and waste some of her time and slow a little bit of her momentum. Tulsi Gabbard's closer was optimistic. I've heard it a lot. I think that's what you got to go with, though, even though I've listened to the candidates many times. So it's old school to me to hear Tulsi Gabbard talk about service before self, but maybe other people needed to hear it. I really wish she would have went a little bit harder tonight. But I got to tell you guys, in the exchange with Tim Ryan, I think Tulsi Gabbard feels very good about what she did there. That was a gift. So as much as Rachel Maddow put together a little smear knuckle sandwich, a cheap shot on Tulsi Gabbard, thanks to Tim Ryan, she was able to make up for it by decimating him in the field of who knows what's going on in the Middle East. Moving on. I was surprised at Bill de Blasio. People told me, Tim, you got to watch out for Bill de Blasio. What he lacks in substance, he makes up for in bluster. And he made up for it in bluster tonight. Bill de Blasio was the most passionate person on that stage was Bill de Blasio. Whether it was sincere or not, I don't know. I don't know the man's heart, but he talked a good game. He was not waiting to be asked questions, polling at a mere less than a percentage point, in my estimation. I was wondering how he made the debates coming in so late. But I guess the New Yorkers must have really supported him. Bill de Blasio wasn't as much as impressive as he was aggressive. And where was everyone else? Where were people? What's wrong? Everyone should have been like Bill de Blasio. He's demonstrating how you do this. You take it, you get the ball, you run it. You don't wait. People raising their hand to talk. This ain't grade school. This is your opportunity on the world stage. If you feel like it's your mission to come change the world, it's your mission to right the ship, to get the car out the ditch. If you think that's your mission, that's why you're running. And if you're running for any other reason, I don't know why you're running. If you're not running to save the world, if you're not running to change the world because you feel like what you have to offer is so different, so intense, it needs to be said, it needs to be out there, you need to be president, well, then you should have the cojones to interrupt Rachel Maddow or Chuck Todd or any of them to voice your thoughts. And de Blasio did that tonight. And frankly, guys, I wonder why more people didn't take the initiative. De Blasio was up there sunning you, showing you how to be a jerk. And sometimes you got to be a jerk because you got to get your message out. All right, so, don't write me long emails telling me, oh, you're a de Blasio fan. I'm far from a de Blasio fan. But the truth is what it is. We call it like we see it. How does he have more screen time than... he arguably had as much screen time as Elizabeth Warren, who I've just now mentioned name. I just mentioned her name for the first time since I've been on this live stream tonight. And we're 7-8 minutes in, 10 minutes in, and I'm just now mentioning the front runner because the front runner took the night off. Don't you listen to Zelina Maxwell over there on MSNBC talking about Elizabeth Warren did all she needed to do. Yes, she did all she needed to do to stay where she was, but where she was is not where she is now because Julian Castro just moved up. Tulsi Gabbard got some good hits in on the regime change wars, right? And arguably, I say Cory Booker had a decent night. I don't think tonight helped Elizabeth Warren. Oh, it's nice to go through the diatribe and talk about the dress your mama laid out on the bed and how the money was tight and how somebody picked themselves up and we got in a fight. But we don't have time for 10-point, 12-point plans. You need to be pithy and short and to the point. And Elizabeth Warren, the only time that she did that was in Medicare for All. She left no doubt that in Medicare for All, that's what she supports. But after that, that was in the opening first 7 minutes about Medicare for All. The beginning, the first quarter of the actual debate. So my thing is, Elizabeth Warren, be like Floyd Mayweather, don't get hit, but you got to throw some punches. And why wasn't anybody calling out Elizabeth Warren? Everybody's scared of Elizabeth Warren? It didn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. The front runner's right there. Being nice ain't going to get it. All right, I digress. Elizabeth Warren's closer, it was uneventful in my opinion. It was a stump speech. I heard it before. It wasn't inspiring particularly. It was serviceable. I give it a 5. Okay. Beto O'Rourke. Hey, look, I'm not going to waste time. Guys, if you were about to write a check for Beto O'Rourke, I think you'd be better saving your money. Or better yet, send it to Tim Black. Send it to the Tim Black Show. Become a Patreon of the Tim Black Show. You'll do more good helping the Tim Black Show stay on the air, helping us expand what we do, than you will be giving money to Beto O'Rourke. Because Beto O'Rourke's show tonight, he ain't ready. I said Beto O'Rourke is not ready. He had everything on the line, in my opinion, more than anyone else. Of course, everybody had something on the line, but I feel that Beto O'Rourke needed to bounce back. He had one point been in double digits. He has fallen to single digits. Why didn't Beto O'Rourke come out swinging? I think he's incapable of swinging. I think he's incapable of being direct with his answers, which leads itself all to these winding roads of platitudes that I just don't think land the way that they need to land. I liked his closer. He had a good closer. He talked about his children. He talked about immigration. He talked about tinfoil blankets, aluminum foil blankets. I get it. Good stuff. Right now, you got your finger on the post, but throughout the debate, man, you checked out, you checked in. Castro ate your lunch. What's going on with Beto O'Rourke? It was not a good showing. Optimism is going to require more than optimism for you to become the front runner or to get back in the double digits. I don't think Beto O'Rourke did it. And there may be people that disagree with me. Well, you tell me what he did tonight that pushed him, propelled him forward. Just good enough isn't that good enough if you're Beto O'Rourke. Nothing hurts more. If you already had a good thing, you were in a good spot, and now you dropped, you got to get back to where you were. The expectations are on you. And I don't think anyone can say in a straight face that Beto O'Rourke surpassed expectations tonight. Maybe he's just incapable. Maybe people need to accept that. Once again, instead of donating to his show, donate to this one. Amy Klobuchar. There used to be a skit in SNL called Lowered Expectations. What Klobuchar and Delaney have in common is they both lower expectations. Not just for themselves, but for the future of this country. They talk about what we can't do, not about what we can do. Klobuchar wants to be the senator next door. I'd like to know what door is that so I can avoid it. Klobuchar is uninspiring. And I don't like, look, I have nothing against anyone's ability to speak. Sometimes I get nasally. I've been having some work done trying to get this corrected. Will somebody work on Amy Klobuchar because she sounds like she's about to cry half the time she's talking? That does not instill confidence. I'm so sorry. Drop it a couple of octaves and say it boldly and plainly and stop kissing the butt of the establishment. She said, when you got to say, I'm not the establishment, that's because you are the establishment. No one else on that stage said, hey, I'm not the establishment. I'm an outsider. If you are anti-establishment, no, it's true that you're an outsider, Amy. You don't come for money, but you're an outsider. You're not anti-establishment. You're not establishment, but you're not anti-establishment. I always get the sense that you want to be establishment. I'm just uninspired by it. Give me somebody gritty. Give me somebody willing to fight for me. I have nothing against Amy Klobuchar except I'm uninspired by Amy Klobuchar. Unless I said it before, if you're not in this to change the world, if you don't think that it's you that can change the world, why are you wasting our time? Why are you taking people's money? Why are you taking up space? This debate could have been with 9 people instead of 10. People should not be running just to raise their profile. And the same could be said about many of these people, not just Amy Klobuchar. Cory Booker had a decent night tonight. But if I got to one more time sit back and listen to you talk about you live in a black community, what community are you supposed to live in? Stop telling me what community you live in. Don't do it anymore. I don't want to hear about, tell me what you're going to do for those people in that community. Stop giving your bona fides, making it all be about the fact you live in Newark. That's not good enough. This is not going to get it. People need to recognize this is 2019. It's not 2008 anymore. Okay? Just being black or just being Latino or just being homosexual or just being whatever you are, right? That ain't going to be enough. Obama already showed us that. Okay? We're going to have to see you do more. Cory Booker had a good moment or two. Okay? I'm not saying it was a terrible night for him. I'm just saying what got redundant. And I was taking notes. Booker says he wants to end the ICE policies of stripping rights, and he wants to reinstate DACA, things that are very popular in the Democratic Party. Everyone talked about the tragic events of a father and a daughter drowned trying to get to America. This is a horrible thing. It's a gimme. Anybody who could not hit that one out the park, I don't know what you're doing up on that stage. You had to know that was going to be a talking point. I think that Cory Booker did a good job as any on that issue. Who's left? Inslee. Oh, Inslee. Inslee is the climate change. He's the climate change guy. I'm uninspired by him. Look, here's the thing, guys. And this, look, it doesn't make me feel good to knock this guy, okay? Climate change is a pressing issue. It's arguably the most important issue of our time, right? No Earth, no life. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you got health care if you're dead. Doesn't matter if the planet's uninhabitable if you can get more money back on your taxes. Doesn't matter if college is open to everyone if no one's alive to go to college. You understand what I'm saying? So it is a very important issue. But God, dare I say it? Yes, I dare to say it. Maybe, just maybe, Inslee, Mr. J, Governor Inslee, maybe the message is right, but the message is wrong. Yes, right, guys. You can have the right message, but the wrong messenger. And I believe Jay Inslee may be the wrong messenger. Sometimes we got to bite the bullet. Hey, I'm not paid by these people. I call it like I said, Jay Inslee. You're just missing something for me. Maybe you're 10 years too late or 2 days too old or a couple of swings at the bat that were missed or something's going on or a couple of sandwiches short of a picnic. I don't know. But something's not connecting the way it should. People, please tell me I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. Thank you, Alexis. I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm dead on the money here. I think this is what people would say if they weren't paid by MSNBC and CNN and CBS and NBC and ABC to continue talking points. I think they would call it as they see it. So, a lot of people who tune into this, there was one part that I think was worth mentioning about Elizabeth Warren. And look, guys, all of a sudden they say Elizabeth Warren's doing so well in the ratings. I think a lot of that has to do with the media coverage. It has to do with the focus of the media, the narrative that's painted by people like Rachel Maddow, Chuck Todd, and others, okay? Anderson Cooper, all of them, okay? Here's the deal. When asked Elizabeth Warren how she would deal with Mitch McConnell, saying we just need to fight is not enough. What's your strategy to deal with Mitch McConnell? That's what we need to hear you say, Elizabeth Warren. What's your plan? She said, I have a plan for it. And then her plan was, we need to fight. And we need more than just to fight. How are we going to fight Mitch McConnell? We all know that John Delaney's tactic of civility and bipartisanship is not going to work. Mitch McConnell simply and plainly said, when Obama took office, we're going to oppose everything he does. Did that sound like somebody willing to be civil? Does that sound like somebody who's down for bipartisanship? No, it sounds like it's somebody who's down to win. So, yeah. The topic of guns came up. Great topic. No one really had an answer. Does anyone really have an answer for the gun problem? I did like Tim Ryan's approach to gun violence when he talked about mental health. That's something I don't hear much talked about. He had a unique solution for the school shootings. Though, guys, it gets a lot of press, school shootings are not the number one cause of people's death with firearms. The number one cause of death with firearms is suicide. But kudos to Tim Ryan for bringing up mental health, because mental health is an important issue and aspect that we need to look at. Tim Ryan suggested putting a mental health professional in our schools because 78%, according to Tim Ryan, I don't know where his numbers came from, 78% of the school shootings are young people who were the perpetrators, felt isolated, depressed, shut out, bullied, or picked on, and that's why they did it. Or at least it affected why they did it. So I think Tim Ryan had an excellent point of view. I've never heard anyone talk about putting a mental health professional in the school to give the children someone to talk to other than the guidance counselor. We all had guidance counselors. We mostly avoided them. No diss to guidance counselors. But guidance counselors are not mental health professionals, in my opinion. I could be a guidance counselor. What else? I think that's about it. Okay, so let's just go down a list of what I saw as closing arguments, guys, because, a lot of people, when you watch a debate like this, the closing argument is very important. The closing statement, right? So this is how I rated them from 10 to 1, 1 being tops, 10 being the worst. Number 10 was Delaney. Forgettable. I forgot what he said. Forgettable. Bad closer. All the numbers aren't the same, 1 to 10, okay? 10 being worse. De Blasio, he scored a 5. I thought De Blasio was pretty strong in his closer. He talked about poverty, a $15 minimum wage, and free pre-K, which is something Klobuchar talks about, but he talked about it in a way that actually was a little bit more inspiring. Inslee, once again, he scored an 8. The climate change, I just didn't feel inspired by his climate change rhetoric. Sorry. Ryan, once again, he did a good job. He talked about playing offense. When it comes to dealing with Donald Trump, and it comes with Democrats taking back both the House and the Senate, which he believes is attainable. Gabbard talked about service. She had an optimistic closer. I think Gabbard scored about a 6. I'm going to keep it real with you. But I'm a little biased because I heard it several times, which probably took a little bit of the momentum from it because, honestly, I've heard it 1,000 times. Castro, promise of America. I think Castro was very strong. He talked about the promise of America, and he used himself as an example, his mother being a new American, an immigrant, and his brother, both he and his brother being success stories, how his brother's in Congress and he's running for president. Good job, Julian Castro. Klobuchar says she gets things done, and she can win. She's using pragmatism. This is not a pragmatism election. Those days are over. I don't think we ever... See, some people think we're going to course correct after Donald Trump and start being pragmatic. I don't believe that America's ever going to be the same way again. I believe the world is changed by our president. Our world in America is changed by our leadership. It changes the tenor and the narrative of the country. I believe once you elected Obama, the world will never be the same. The country will never be the same. Things will never go back to the way they were with Bush. I believe once Donald Trump won the election, the world is forever changed. It will not go back to the days of back to the days of Obama, or back to the days of Clinton or Bush. So stop hanging your hat on pragmatism and how, I like to get things done. I put my head down. That's not going to get it. Klobuchar, a 7. Remember, 1 would be best. The closer to 10, the worse you did. Booker. He told his same story we've heard several times about his parents, about discrimination, about racial injustice. He talked about this stuff. He talked about his parents' marriage. It was optimistic, though. I give him that. Optimistic. Maybe some people hadn't heard it. Maybe there are 3 people that haven't heard your story. But Cory Booker, I expected more out of you in your closer. Decent closer. I heard it a lot. I'm sorry, guys. A 6. I'm not sorry, but you know. O'Rourke talked about his children, as I stated earlier. He had a pretty good closer because he had time. O'Rourke's okay. Beto O'Rourke is good when he has time to build up, and he took about a minute to build up and get his stuff flowing. That's great, but for questions, he wasn't as on point as he should be, but his closer was serviceable. I just don't think his closer was enough to make up for the missteps and the lack of opportunity and aggressive stances, and offensive nature, posture that he should have had throughout the entire debate. That's what I believe that he needed, and I don't think he had it. Edwards. I feel like Edwards checked out. I think she was playing it safe than anything else, and I think it showed, which gave ground to others. I don't think Edward gets a bump out of this. In fact, I didn't even score her closer. It was redundant. It was her same old stump speech. I took the time to go put my shirt and tie on. That's how uninspiring it was. 5. Bill de Blasio had a moment, guys, and I just want to make this clear. Bill de Blasio had a moment when he talked about his father suicide, never, ever truly rebounding from the war. And I think it struck a chord with a lot of people. I think it worked. I think it's working. I think Bill de Blasio is going to get some type of bump out of this. I think it'll be enough. I don't know. Once again, I'm not a de Blasio fan, but I hadn't heard the story. Maybe you've heard the story because you've taken the time out to listen to de Blasio. All right, so that's it, guys. That's my takeaway for tonight. We had some winners. We had some losers. Winners, if I had to pick 2 winners, I'd pick Julian Castro. I'd pick Tulsi Gabbard in moments. Yeah, Tim Ryan gifted her. Tim Ryan saved Tulsi Gabbard tonight, in my opinion. Look, I'm telling you straight. I have never been out to eat with Tulsi Gabbard. We're not buddies. I just admire her work in this campaign for peace. I admire what she's trying to do in that regard. I'm telling you straight. Her night was saved tonight by Tim Ryan. Tulsi Gabbard, you and your husband sent Tim Ryan a case of champagne. And if I had to go number 3, Bill de Blasio made himself not look like a total fool for getting in this thing tonight. People who failed or didn't do as well as they should have. Big failure, Delaney. Delaney, what are you doing up there? I don't get it. Inslee, you're wasting my time and yours. Klobuchar, pragmatism ain't going to work, but I guess I'm biased in that regard. And last but not least, Edwards. Hey, I didn't say take dramatic risk. Right? I didn't say walk past a pack of wolves smelling like a roast beef sandwich. But come on, you got to keep daylight between you and the other people. You should be more aggressive. You weren't aggressive. You played it too safe. You can't run around the ring all night. And I think it's going to show on the polls. And if it doesn't, maybe that'll say something about those polls. All right, guys, I'm Tim Black. Hit me up at Real Tim Black. I told you I'd come back, I'd live stream, I'd do a wrap-up, and tomorrow, get ready for more of the same. Tomorrow during the day, I'll have a pre-debate show where I'll talk about what I expect, what my predictions are, what my rants are, and hopes and wishes. And we'll do that. And then tomorrow, it's almost midnight. And then tomorrow, after debates, we'll have a post show. And then Friday, we will have Freedom Friday, where you get to call up on my show and you get to tell me what you think about the debates, points I may have missed, points you want to reiterate. And that will live stream on Facebook, on Periscope, on YouTube, on iTunes, and Stitcher Radio and Blog Talk Radio. You'll be 5 places. That's why you're part of the Wolfpack. Become part of the Wolfpack. Wolfpack members get preferential treatment on my phone lines because you help make the phone line be available. That's you. All right, so don't forget, become a member of my Wolfpack. Go to patreon.com, Tim's Take Live. Once again, I'm real Tim Black. Find me on Facebook. Find me on Twitter. Email me with questions at tim@timblacktv.com. I am here. I do bar mitzvahs. And I do political analysis. Peace.